Hello everyone and welcome finally to my Tartelette Toasted palette here. This was one of those palettes I feel like when I first saw it I was like kind of excited for it, but then as time went on it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing, my excitement, and then it released and I was like yay! And now that I have it and everything and have tested it, I definitely have some feelings. Overall, I like this palette. Do I adore this palette? No, but I do really like it. This is just like, you know, the Tartelette in Bloom palette and whatnot, same packaging, just a different lid, but it's got the gold backing and whatnot. It's pretty much the same price per gram. It's 1 cent more, but even then it's because I had to round up from 0.555 to 0.56 instead of just to 0.55 like I did with the In Bloom. So slightly more expensive, yes, but really not much. And in comparison to other palettes and whatnot that you can get at Sephora, as you can see here, you know, it's one of the cheaper ones, and I would say better quality ones as well. I do think, at least of the eyeshadows that I've tried from Tarte, they make fantastic shadows. I really like the formula of their shadows. Some of them can definitely be a bit crumbly or just bad, but for the most part, they're super buttery. They blend really easily and really beautifully on the lid. Their mattes especially are just so buttery. This palette has 6 mattes in it, and then 3 like metallic shades, and then 1 kind of like satin shade, and then a couple of super heavy chunky glitter shades. So you do get a nice mix of finishes here. I love the layout of these Tarte palettes. They can work, you know, if you need help with like figuring out colors. I mean, granted, you can pull from anywhere on this palette and the colors work well together, but like these quads in the rows are all perfect together. They even work really well going in 3s here. So just, it's a good layout for me. I feel like it's very user-friendly, and really the whole, if you don't, I don't know, I feel like everyone understands this, but like this whole Tartelette Toasted palette is supposed to be a toasty warm palette, so everything is very warm, very orange toned. If you don't like those eyeshadow colors, you can hate this palette because that is all you can make with this. The looks that you come up with are all going to be very orange, you know, and granted you can play with that in that some are more subtle orange and some are more shebang orange juice orange. I mean, not quite, but you get what I'm saying. That's what is in here. That's what's waiting for you in this palette. So, and then like I said, the matte shades are superior. I love the matte shades in this palette. Fireside can be a little that's the only matte in here that I'm kind of like needs a little bit of work. It can be a little chalky, a little skippy, but I think it's very work withable and it's a good shade to have in this palette. The metallic shades, they're good, but I feel like they're not good with a, like they're okay with a brush. I feel like they're the kind of metallics where if you want them to really show up, you need to use your finger, which is fine. It's just knowing that that's the application method that's gonna work best. And then the chunky glitter shades, I mean, Candle is good just in the sense that I really only use it for like an inner corner highlight for the most part. So for me, that's just a very easy dab type thing, but it is very chunky and crumbly. Crackle right here is horrible. Absolutely horrible. You will see me attempt to work with it in one of the tutorials coming up in the review, but overall this is a mess, like an absolute horrible ugly mess. All of the glitter just ends up falling out onto your cheeks. I've tried using sprays and stuff to make it stick. Nothing works. It's just awful. Awful. I don't know what, I mean, yeah, it looks nice sitting here in the palette, but like what was Tarte thinking with this eyeshadow? It's not usable. I mean, it is, but it's awful. Like, it's really, I don't know. I have yet to see anyone make that shadow look cute and desirable to use on their eyes. So that's why I say, you know, this palette is good. I really like it. I don't adore this palette. I really like it though. You know, it's one of those things that it's really going to come down to what do you already have in your collection? What do you like? This palette is very, I feel like it's hard to get more than a few looks with this palette. It's really for people that do like a few basic looks. Like you can get kind of a more subtle everyday kind of a look with it. You can definitely punch it up and make it more smoky and metallic and whatnot, and then you can definitely make it very smoky. But I feel like those are the only few things you can do with this, and like I said, they are all going to be very orange heavy, and something about them being so orange heavy makes them all look very similar. So like I said, if you enjoy just a few looks, you're probably gonna love this palette if you also like oranges. The actual palette is very nice. It feels very sturdy. It's got this huge, big, nice mirror in here, which I personally love. It's not a magnetic closure, which that's just a personal thing, but it's still got a really nice clasp closure on here. But then it's like, do you already have palettes like these? Do you need this? You know, do you need to have them all? I mean, this one, the Tarte Swamp Queen palette from Graveyard Girl, someone had mentioned if this was like really similar to the Tarte Toasted palette, and I was like, like I would never have thought of that, but there are a couple of shades in here. Does Sippy Sippy look familiar? Does Dogman look familiar? They should. Now granted, Dogman is different than the ones that are in the Toasted palette, but it is very similar. It's a really nice, like, orangey matte brown type shade, but this one has a little bit of shimmer in it, but it is oddly similar to Cozy. Dogman is a lot softer, and it's a lot more orange. But, you know, I do think overall, I understand where the similarities are drawn. I do think Dogman is a superior shade, but then like said, the real questionable ones are Sippy Sippy, which I hated in the Swamp Queen palette, and then Crackle. Are those not exactly the same shadow? I do believe those are exactly the same. Yeah, like identical. Let's have a look. Boom. Boom. Can you tell the difference? Because I'm pretty sure those are exactly the same shade, just named differently. I mean, they look beautiful like this, but I have tried using a finger to like pat this on my eye, you'll see, and it doesn't work out. And then you can just blow on it and so much of the shimmer is just gone. So yes, the myth has been debunked. Sippy Sippy and Crackle are exactly the same shade. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. And then with the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, there are definitely similarities in here. Like, it's going for that same kind of a look and everything. I feel like the Naked Heat is a lot more of a cranberry palette, and then the Toasted is more of an orange palette. So like Cozy and Cayenne are quite similar. This one was Cozy, and then this is Cayenne. But you can see they are a little bit different. They're not quite the same. And then we have got Flame and Dirty Talk here. So Tarte and then Urban Decay. These are also quite different. As you can see, I mean, same finish, but definitely different shades. Here's Latte and Low Blow. Also quite different shades. Latte is a lot more orangey and light, and then Low Blow is a lot more brown. So overall, I think these do look similar, but I do think they are quite different palettes. I just was shocked because I had not made the correlation between Sippy Sippy and Crackle, and then when someone mentioned that, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, those are the same. Those are the same horrible crap shadow. I can't believe Tarte included that in a palette again. Ugh. But overall, like I said, I do like this palette. Along with these shadows being super blendable and everything on the lids, they are also super long lasting. I feel that the longevity is very good. I don't think the longevity is as good as the In Bloom palette. I find that near the very end of a very long day for me, I'm talking like 16, 18 hours, these have creased a little tiny little bit. Just a little bit though. And like I said, that's after a very, very long day. Otherwise, these shadows last a very long time. I mean, 10, 12 hours. I personally don't have to worry about them being faded or creased, but I did feel like that was worth mentioning. I think it's gonna make a huge difference seeing me apply these on my eyes and also in the swatches and everything. So I hope you enjoyed this next segment of this video, and then I will just see you at the very end as per usual. So Hello, time for the second tutorial here. Technically, I suppose this is the first time you're seeing me talk in this review video, but here we go. 'Tis the time. Let's do this. I'm gonna go for something a bit more neutral, everyday looking. I mean, the last one was everyday, but you know, it was quite a bit smokier, so I'm gonna see if we can get something a bit more, I don't know, just less. So I already primed my lids. Now I'm just going ahead and putting down a nice champagne wash of cream shadow. Zoom you in here. I'm gonna start off with a fluffy blending brush. I know this one looks like it's already got stuff on it and everything, but I promise it's just stained. And I'm just gonna go ahead and dip this into cashmere, and I'm going to run this through the crease as a transition-y type shade. It's really, I suppose, are you not zoomed in quite enough? How's that? Blend on these is just so nice and smooth. I just love this like mac and cheese slash creamsicle orangey color. I don't know, it's just really nice and warm. Which makes sense considering this is a toasty palette. Now with the same brush, I'm going to go in with warmth. Let's make this even warmer, shall we? I mean, why not? We are using a toasty palette, and I'm just putting this on the very outside portion of the crease and blending any excess pigment in towards the center. Just very soft, very light, very blendy. Blend. See how I just, do you see the difference? Yeah? And now I'm just gonna go in with a flat brush here and dip this into Sunrise quite liberally. And I'm going to be patting this all over the lid, just to, you know, mimic that champagne cream shadow that we had used earlier. And yeah, just for some nice brightness. And then just to add a little bit of dimension, I'm going to take the same brush and dip it into Latte, just very softly, and then I'm just going to pat this on the outer third of the lid. See, it's a very subtle difference, but it makes a difference. And then I'm just gonna take like a tapered pencil brush, I think this is what that is, or that is what this is. And I'm just gonna lightly dip this into Cozy, and I'm just gonna use this to very softly make a greater than less than sign. I never know how to actually describe what I'm doing when I do this, but you see, you know, there we go, that sign. I don't know with the flip in the camera what mathematical symbol I'm actually making at you guys, but there we go. See, just very subtle, but again, it does make a difference. Why stop there when I could definitely add a little bit of shimmer? I'm going to mix Simmer and Flame, you know, kind of equal parts on a fluffy brush. Sorry you couldn't see that. And I'm just gonna put this on my lower lash line. Just to add a little bit of fire to the look. A little more warmth, not that the rest of it needed any help in that department. you are a orange toned palette, your looks are gonna be toasty, that's for sure. Last but not least, for a little more glitz, I'm gonna go in with Candle down here with a small detail brush, and I'm just gonna dab this in my inner corners. And here you go, final look. I just went ahead and put a lilac-y purple liner in my waterline, and then I did mascara, and I think the look turned out nice. Like I said, this is a little more everyday neutral, neutral warm, I guess. I mean, in comparison to the first look anyways, but I like it, you know? It's very warm, but I think it's nice. Everything blended together really nicely and came together well. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to this third and final tutorial of mine. I am so sorry there are leaf blowers going outside. There's nothing I can do about it. They have been going for so long and I need to film while I actually have daylight. To start, I'm gonna go ahead and put down a base. This is Milk's Gig. We're going for something pretty smoky today, so I just want something a little bit shiny to prep the lids. So I'll zoom you in a bit here. So there we go, just a nice golden wash. Then I'm going to be taking this tapered brush here and dipping this into Fireside, tapping off excess. This one does seem to be having a bit of kickback there, but I'm going to be putting this in the crease and really concentrating it in there. Be making this into kind of a V, that greater than less than sign thing again. It doesn't have to be perfect, we're gonna be blending it out and everything later, but for now, we just want that kind of a shape rather than a rounded shape. So there we go, sloppy little mess there. Like I said, we're gonna work with this. So now I'm gonna go in with Latte on a fluffy blending brush, and this is where we get to blend this out. So putting this all through the crease, and we are blending this up. Darkness back that we blended away, I'm going to take the same brush and dip it into Fireside very lightly and re-concentrate that in here. For some real testing, I'm going to be using this Crackle shade. I am first spritzing my brush with some setting spray, and then I am going to cross my fingers and dab this on the lid. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Why are you sticking to my cheek and not my lid? Alright, that's just gonna look like some faux freckles or something, and it looks like none of that glitter is sticking on there. So I'm gonna try, I just like doused my brush in that, and now I'm gonna try spraying over that, because I know some people do it one way and some people do it the other. We'll see, maybe this works better. It just looks exactly like Fireside. That's disappointing and kind of ruins the whole look I was going for. Hope is not lost. I'm gonna try my finger. Okay, now we're getting the glitter, but I'm also getting it all over my cheek. But now at least I have the glitter on my lid a little bit. Can you see it? That's what I want. This is a mess. Okay, I have officially made a mess of myself. I guess this is one of those shades. If you choose to work with it, do it before foundation, yeah? Or just be totally okay with the fact that you are going to have glittery under eyes for the rest of the day. So let's see what happens when I try to blend out these edges here with my brush from the previous steps. Yep, so that just took all the glitter off. No. I don't know why I would expect anything else, but okay. There, I added it back. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and take a brush in Sunset, and I'm just gonna smudge this along the lower lash line. I am also gonna take s'more and put this right underneath the brow. And I'm gonna highlight my inner corners with Candle. Alright, so here you go, you guys. This is the finished product. I had a dream. It didn't work out. But here you go. The lid was supposed to be a bit glitterier than this, but you know, this is what it is. I gave it a shot, but I really think that one shadow is just an absolute fail. To finish off, if you can't tell, I just did mascara, some black liner in my waterline, and then I did half black winged liner, and then the other half, the inside half, with a gold liner. So yeah, that liner was supposed to tie in with the glitter that was supposed to be on my lids, but it's not on my lids. So there was everything. There was that disaster of a last look. Just, oh my gosh. Sometimes we try things and sometimes we fail. I think it's important to share that with the world, right? You know, we're not all perfect. I don't think anyone was ever doubting that about me, but like I've said a million times, I think I do like this Tarte Toasted palette. I don't love this palette purely because it's not super duper versatile. But like I said in the beginning, if you do like just the few same kind of looks on your eyes, you love these warm, toasty shades, especially, you know, for the winter season, which seems a little off. I mean, you want the toastiness because it's winter and it's cold outside, but like, I think we tend to associate warmer palettes with the summertime, you know, I don't know. Maybe you want this palette, maybe you don't. I think if you have even the slightest inkling towards wanting this palette, you will not be disappointed, but if you don't like orange shades, you're gonna hate this palette. Like, I don't think that was ever a doubt in your mind. But overall, I hope this review was helpful and or enjoyable for you guys just in seeing how I felt about this palette from Tarte. If you did enjoy this video, please do go ahead, give me a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content from me in the future. You can become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!